trying to break it.
So, Raz, as we get into pick and ban, I got to know your predictions. OMG or WE?
I'm a gambling man. I've been winning a lot of bets recently.
God,
I'm going to go. I'm going to go OMG.
Oh,
they took
man.
down EDG. It's just not going to stop.
You've heard it here, folks. The last time WE lost a set was to Xiao Gu in week 2, but Raz has his faith in OMG. We just built up the you can't. He had his headset off and everything. Mr. Razzleplasm. Okay, picks and bans. Syndra, Malzahar, and Graves. Oh man, that Rengar is making it through. World 6 plays it as well. Maybe OMG are like, okay, we'll trust.
Well, I mean, with the Graves ban from OMG, WE's response you would expect is going to be the Rengar, but with the Lulu gone, Rengar perhaps not as high a priority. Kha'Zix can match it.
Yeah.
Kondi's got his Lee Sin as well, but
Yeah.
it does make sense that they would get rid of it.
Deciding instead not to take any chances. Rengar banned away from World 6. That means Camille is going to follow through,
Yeah.
not to mention a whole host of other priority champions.
Camille's there. With the Lulu gone, Karma stands to attention as one of the better remaining support picks, as does Malzahar, as well as the fact that with Lulu gone, there's less counters to it there. So
Yeah.
there you go. There's one of them.
Karma locked in 29 out of 58 games here in the LPL. And as we've reached our 149th game, we've got one more before the 150th. It's interesting to see how this meta has shaped up. Karma's so flexible. We'll see if that goes to Icon or if he wants to show up against Xie, or if 5 takes that in the bottom lane. As right now, WE looking at a bit of a flex themselves with that Gragas for either 957 or Kondi. But with how Kondi's been performing, I would think that goes to 957.
You would expect 957 is the recipient of the Gragas. Having an early rotation of the Gragas, it still makes sense to want to flex it. Just in case, just in case you get a bad matchup top lane, or you really need some disengage in your jungle position, or guaranteed level 4 ganks with flash body slams. But it is unlikely. Usually we have been seeing in the LPL the Gragas top lane with the rare flex jungle.
Yeah. Instead, Kondi's like, no, we're going in. Immediately locks in the lease just afterwards. 61% win rate, and Kondi himself has been one of the biggest proponents of this champion, adding to that Elise win rate here in the LPL.
And I feel like they could have picked an AD carry, or they could have went a support there in their first rotation. I understand they have a higher priority on the Elise. Yesterday, we actually saw an extremely high priority on Elise as a champion from Aime as well. And so it does stand to attention as something they do need to first pick for themselves.
Yeah. In answer, World 6 is going to be taking Lee Sin in the jungle to attempt to keep up with that Kondi Elise. It certainly will be a challenge, but with now Maokai locked into the top lane, we're starting to see the formations of something good from OMG.
Yeah, definitely. As you would expect 100% of support locked in here from WE, otherwise they'll get pinched in that role. And with Lulu banned, they've bottlenecked themselves into making this decision.
Yeah.
But the Maokai pick in particular, you would have to imagine knowing against is a Maokai. It's not the worst of lanes to be in. It's not the best of lanes either, granted. You both just try and sustain through, and the Gragas will be a slightly better version of you earlier on.
We'll see if 957 is able to eke out that advantage. Certainly, though, he's not going to have to do it on his own. Kondi, if he goes for the typical Elise build that he likes with the boots and sometimes either Cirque boots or Moby boots before even finishing a jungle item, that means he's going to be all over the map. And with Ben on that Nami to help him out, that could be the dynamic duo showing up. So far, it looks like Ziggs is the next ban from WE, as Ezreal is now banned away from Mystic.
Yeah, as for Mystic, Ziggs from SMLZ, one of the few remaining Ziggs players at the moment. Not a bad ban from WE by any means, just that both of them are now pinching the AD carry position. And so it starts to challenge the pool here. If you're OMG, you want to leave 2 available though. And so their next ban should not be an AD carry, because Mystic and WE have the first rotation.
So I guess this is more of a theoretical question. Do you still call it an AD carry when it's AP Ziggs?
It's bottom lane.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Ashe is now going to be the follow-up ban, and Jace taken away from Xie. So as you said, still leaving up those 2. Caitlyn's still very strong. Of course, Lucian has been showing up quite a bit.
Cogmore for SMLZ if he really wants to, but the Lulu's been removed. And the on-hit Varus is something that we have seen very quickly crop up one more time. Quite good at taking out tanks. Even with the Guinzu's Rage Blade.
That's pretty terrifying, though, because he's going up against Lee Sin and Maokai so far, and we haven't even seen what Icon's going to take. So Mystic is already throwing a bit of a gauntlet here, and the Duelist AD carry immediately follows it. Lucian shows up for SMLZ.
Yeah, and speaking of Icon, he has got the obsession with champions such as Ari, can go to something like a Zed, but, you know, it may well be the Karma.
Interesting, yeah. As Thresh is currently hovered by OMG, and now locked in. 5 takes that in the bottom lane. That means Karma goes mid for Icon. And OMG have got a pretty strong comp.
And I wonder if it's because he's expecting a Vladimir out of WE, a champion that has very quickly just become the go-to for middle lane options. Karma does well into it, as we await Xie's final decision.
Yeah. Talia is the hover right now. Xie certainly going to be looking to prove himself against Icon and sort of demonstrate this success as that Chinese mid laner, something that Icon has been trying to achieve for quite some time, but now he's got to do it. Karma into Talia.
Every time we've seen a Talia, you can see down the bottom of your screen, it's a 0% win rate from the 3 picks. One of those was RNG against WE, so they know how to beat it. The question is, do they know how to actually play it themselves? Has a lot of versatility, can roam around the map extremely efficiently, and when you look at Condi being on the Elise, you'd say mobility's rush naturally for the Spider, he always does it, and then you'll have a Talia running around with it. That's a pretty dangerous combo, with a lot of lockdown, especially when the wall is available.
The sort of gank squad. You can set up a very effective funnel by using that Weaver's Wall and lining the Tsunami right up next to it. But again, that is the theoretical performance. We'll see if the teams actually live up to those expectations, as it's OMG versus WE. The coaches shake hands. First place in their group, WE trying to bring up this win rate, whereas OMG currently tied for 3rd with Invictus Gaming, making a late cross-conference surge to try to claim that 4th place spot, to try to lock down their position in playoffs, and it is still very close.
And if OMG managed to do it here today, if they managed to actually beat WE, then I really do not know what the state of the LPL actually looks like, because WE are definitively the best team right now.
Yeah.
They're up against the upset kings themselves, basically, just a middle-of-the-pack bruiser, ragtag, OMG team that have found their strengths and they're committing to them. This team composition, no different. The only thing missing is the Sivir is now Illusion. Otherwise, we're stock standard OMG.
Maokai Sivir and just run at them. Keep throwing fists at WE. Question is, will these fists break the shell of WE's Galapagos turtle? Or are they going to try something a little bit more intelligent and try to flip it over to the soft underside?
I mean, OMG have shown that they can be quite smart when they play League of Legends. Yes, they want to ram their heads at you, but if they place vision first, then they can get a good teleport to do it. You know, like there's these small things that...
It's a question of whether or not they're wearing a helmet when they ram their heads at you.
Yeah, basically. We're going to keep going with the analogy, then yeah, it's a spiked helmet.
We're investing very deeply into this, as are OMG. They've got 3 members bottom, Lee Sin, Karma, Thresh. Mystic is spotted. And now Flash Hook, just barely doesn't catch Mystic as he uses his flash to get out.
So someone is traded, but one of those is a Varus. It means that World 6 will have his eye in on this bottom lane already. Laser vision down towards there perhaps, and we have to actually watch where he starts. You would imagine Raptors into something, but a lot of junglers at the moment, especially on the blue side of the map, are actually starting back at the blue buff again, so the top laner can leash, freeing up their bottom lane. Though you can do Raptors, especially if you have a Karma that can queue over the wall, they're all just choosing to start the blue buff again. Yeah. I feel like it's just a more effective level 4 jungle clear, where you can go back to base, do 1 camping, the Krugs hit level 4, then gank a lane. It delays the gank pathing and gives Condi a lot of opportunities, though.
And that is something that's very important to WE. If they can set Condi up for early success, he will almost certainly claim it for himself as Ben eats a hook. That's Courage and Colossus on 5, so not rocking the new Stoneborn Pact, as immediately Mystic is like, you tried to hook me, get the hell out of my lane.
And that's why Ben walks in first, right? So he's the player on the team with Exhaust and with Flash there. If he actually gets chunked out or they decide to commit OMG, they'll lose the trade because Ben has heal and summoners there. And that's exactly how WE are able to say, well, we'll come into the bush, we'll check if you're there, and we'll absolutely trade with you if you are. OMG actually graciously walk up in range of that as well. They didn't want to. They're actually sitting at the back of the bush. They're a bit scared.
Yeah. Gotta respect that Varus Nami damage. I mean, we've seen the same thing out of Ezreal at level 2 Nami, or level 2 when paired with Nami. So definitely very respecting of this as Ben tops himself off. It is longsword 3 pot, and 5 has got his Targon's shield, the very early.
Yeah, the relic.
Yeah, relic shield.
For those that don't know bottom lane, though, OMG have lost lane. The fact that the Thresh can't actually position himself on the same side of the lane as the Nami means that Nami wins trades.
Ooh. 5 chucks out a hook as World 6 makes his way bottom. He's sitting just outside of vision, but Kandi's on the invade. He's going to see the blast cone has been cleared and know that red buff will be taken as well. But World 6...
Watch where he moves now, though.
About to show himself. Xie trading with Icon. Just deals a little bit of damage, and Kandi now roams towards mid instead. Yeah, World 6 decides he can't make anything happen.
Yeah, World 6 was looking bottom, and Kondi, I was expecting perhaps a ward over towards the Krug, but he doesn't have one. Just placed it there while he does the Scuttle Crab. So different priorities in order. There you go.
Yeah, the fan vote is in favor of OMG right now, 64 to 36%.
Isn't that some crap?
Yeah, despite the fact that WE, they are the best team in the league. They defeated RNG 2-1. The last time they dropped a game was actually against RNG, and then before that in intergroup play. If they 2-0 OMG, the only game that they'll have dropped in cross-conference would be to RNG.
And that's a game, not a set.
Yes.
World 6 again looking towards mid lane, actually committing.
Yeah, Flash Tether means the Flash answer out of Xie.
I think that's okay, though, from Icon. Trading Flash for Flash and just having World 6 nearby. He's actually the one with a teleport and advantage, so gets an extra wave, might be able to farm this next wave, then go back and get a slight edge in CS, perhaps a better recall. The closer he gets to a lost chapter, the better he will be. Unless he goes Athenes, and then the same thing applies with Chalice.
Yeah, well, the Chalice is pretty easy. We'll see how he decides to go for it. As 5 is just trying to harass Mystic over and over. He's going for the plays, he's going for the long-range hooks, but Mystic is just pummeling him down here while Ben is keeping SMLZ locked down under this turret, this bottom lane from WE.
Yeah, and it comes back to what I mentioned before as well. Lane assignment in the Thresh Lucian lane, the hook needs to hit or they can't trade, especially against the Nami who has sustain. And even if the trade is equal, you would imagine that OMG eventually will come to lose that trade. Right now, they're missing health, there's no potions left for SMLZ, and they're pushing in. So if they actually don't get a fight here successfully, then they're pushed out of lane and they're forced to recall early with things that they may not want to purchase yet or can't afford to just yet. So World 6 is here to break that.
There's 5. Flash play again misses, and Mystic's Flash just on cooldown.
It just came back.
He immediately gets it back and then uses it again. World 6 is like, I thought we had the timing, guys.
And 5 cooked that, absolutely. Flash tried to flayed the wrong direction, missed the target at the wrong angle. That could not have been worse, unfortunately, from the Thresh. And so, OMG, they do exactly what you would expect of them, and that is bring World 6 down to allow them to recall. But that could have potentially been a kill at the very least on top of that. They even managed to time it tragically with a Flash being up from Mystic.
Unfortunately, though, it does not convert into anything. And ends up being a 600 gold lead as we get to the 6-minute mark for WE. Mystic and Ben are continuing to shove this in, trying to force them to miss some minions. It is a cannon wave, so not too much threat. In general, though, we are seeing a slight advantage open up for WE in that mid lane, and now, more importantly, in that top lane, as 957 is nearly 12 CS ahead of Xiong.
Well, Maokai is just not a laner anymore.
Yeah.
He used to be known for his ability to stay close in a lot of lanes, but every Maokai lane feels more like what we saw at Worlds with the Jason to Poppy matchup. You're just going to go down 20 CS, you're going to have a bad time, and then you're going to eventually become a Maokai. But the Gragas is effectively a better version of you, so not ideal situations for OMG. It's all about those teleport flanks, and if they can get the utility from Xiong, if he can become unkillable by getting kills perhaps, things will turn around well for them.
Yeah, those flanks are so important, and they all require a lot of vision. We just saw 5 briefly roam up towards mid lane, knowing that Xie's summoners were down. He knows he wasn't spotted because he placed a control ward, but Xie playing very safe, doesn't take any chances. And now you can see Kandi and Ben moving as a cohesive unit to get some vision into World 6's jungle. Again, not taking any chances.
And it looks like a play perhaps for the next spawn of the red buff that'll be there shortly, in just over 20 seconds. But they didn't place vision directly on it. They actually placed it around the Raptors and on the top side of the camp. So maybe not a play, just getting vision. And WE, while you look at that, they're not getting advantages from all of this setup. They're just preventing OMG from getting it, from them being over-aggressive. I think they're just happy sitting in this laning phase, letting it pan out. Xie hits 6, he can now roam around, so they just make a big play when they make it.
Yeah. He's got 3/4 that flash up, so maybe another 75 seconds before he has the rest of it. And can effectively look for that as red buff was picked up by Condi, and now World 6 looks to do the same. You can see SMLZ and 5 making their way mid lane, spotted out by a quick ward placed by Mystic and Ben.
Oh god, Lucian. You don't have your Thresh.
That's a
He's
little...
waiting for the lantern, I think. Unless he wasn't going to walk.
Yeah. Ben tries to intercept him in river. Condi was actually on that side of the map, but continues to farm up a storm. He's actually going for a standard Elise build, going for the Tracker's Knife first before Boots, so no Snowball Condi this game.
Didn't go for an early gank, didn't commit to the gank-heavy route that he wants to often go as the Elise, and again, just trying to farm to get as much as he possibly can get towards the rest of his team, getting perhaps levels, perhaps items at a breaking point where he deems it worthy to start ganking. You would imagine with what he's already built for himself, though, going for the wards to get more vision to prevent ganks, that he'll just continue along that route, get his AP item upgraded there completely, and then he'll be super strong.
Yeah. Currently he's just chilling out bottom. You can see Xie is actually cheating down towards that side of the river as Icon continues to trade with him. Pops the snare, but Xie almost has his flash back up, so he's comfortable taking that damage, unless World 6 and Xiang show up.
Yeah, Karma's usually just going to have advantage in most lanes. Just having a shield tips the balance in your favor. Being able to match burst is always necessary, as Condi has to hang around this area just in case. I feel like his spider senses are tingling because he knows World 6 is trying to gank this middle lane. Has done it once already. They placed vision to prevent the ganks around mid. And top side is where they're blind. So Condi sits on the bottom jungle, or bottom side of mid lane, knowing that if he comes in and tries to place vision, he might die, and so it has to be reactive.
As it is, though, Condi is playing very safe, taking his time. Yep, going for that Etherwisp and Abtome so he can finish off Runic Echoes on that Tracker's Knife. And now we'll be taking Krug. So you can see World 6 just a little bit faster on his jungle clear. He's just barely a level ahead. You can see him outpacing Condi by getting that level 6 first. They haven't made anything happen with it. You can see World 6 continues to look for it, and Icon keeps on just harassing Xie in the mid lane.
But harass doesn't amount to anything for OMG. They're just looking or setting up slowly, but every time they go to actually make the play, it gets answered or prevented entirely. Every time World 6 has shown up for a gank, the gank hasn't been successful. WE just blow a summon a spell, and that's all she wrote every single time. Yeah,
and this was the question. Can the wild flinging fists of OMG break down the brick wall of WE? So far, the answer is no.
And they still want this Lantern play in bottom. They've deemed this as the easiest lane to gank with a flash flay. The flash is up again, so perhaps they were waiting on that cooldown specifically. They still can't get it done. The way WE are playing, hook's on.
Yeah, it finally lands the hook play combo. Chains of Corruption goes completely wide. But World 6 is already back in his jungle. So that's a culling and Chains of Corruption used. Condi's actually roaming down bottom. He might be able to skirt around that until he walks through.
Yeah, he hasn't been spotted just yet. Xie also working down. This is the combo we mentioned before the game started. But World 6 may accidentally walk into it unless Xie... Oh.
They're right there. They are right there. There we go. Ben forces it. That's
going
to be the box. They're bursting Ben down. He flashes away as that's a cocoon onto 5. First blood, Condi. Tidal Wave catches both Xiang and Icon. A cask knocks them back as 957 sets up the play, and Mystic tries to convert. He's taking damage from SMLZ, but that's still first blood from WE as it's a 5v5 in the bottom lane.
And you can't tell me that wasn't still a reactionary counter gank. The 5-man unit of WE just said, come at us. We're ready with open arms for a fight to happen. And the second a hook connects onto Ben, who walked up to get hooked, they go.
Yeah. Turns out that fish was actually bringing a lot more than just the one in that fight. As WE now shove a lot of damage onto that bottom tier 1 turret. You've got recall completed as 5 respawns, and World 6 is making his way back towards the turret, but WE are set to break down this very first one. 12 minutes in, they force the engage onto Condi, who's brought back in. He repels back as 957 flashes. Hook finds Mystic. He's pinned against the wall, but kites
They're
it
still
out.
alive.
The arrow is not enough to drop Xiang, barely 30 HP. But he stays alive, and so too does the tier 1.
And Mystic wishing at this stage that he either put levels in Q or he had lethality of some kind, but doesn't get it. And nobody actually dies from WE. Still 0 kills for OMG. So that's got to feel bad, but the consolation of a Mountain Drake is going to be there for them.
Yeah. World 6 immediately turns onto it. 5 doesn't even help as he's clearing out all of the vision, and the rest of OMG are recalled. So a quick solo from World 6 to secure that mountain, while WE reset.
And they'll be happy with that, of course. The Blade of the Ruling King AD carry that everybody is going towards now definitely does excel at neutral objectives. The Baron is the biggest one, and you know, Mountain Drake's going to help you to secure that one. The next Drake, I believe, is also a Mountain, and so now it starts to get a little bit more spicy.
Some big damage going to be coming out of both Mystic and SMLZ. Xiang actually walked bottom. He doesn't have teleport, and now they see World 6 as he heads by.
That pathing is really awkward though from World 6. If you're looking for a Scuttle Crab, you don't walk through an area where you just had a fight, especially not when you didn't actually get to place vision there. So what they've done there, it's a small detail, is he's just given vision of himself to WE. Look at how Condi moves immediately. Xie tries to clear wards on the bottom side, and Condi's there to counter gank, expecting it.
Immediately prepared, leaps over real quick towards that wolf camp. He's still waiting on that side of the map. 957 is still pinging Mia on Xiang. He's a full level ahead, and with those minion waves missed, it's now nearly a 30 CS advantage for 957. They are dead even in items, however, so not yielding any tangible rewards just yet. But everyone has now returned to lane. Blue buff gets gifted over to Xie as Condi keeps on cleaning out his own side of the map.
It's just the way that this works for WE though. They don't even need to fight. OMG need to fight. They're always the ones that have to go in. They have to do all of these crazy moves. And WE still have a gold lead as a result. They can just sit back. They know they're the better players ultimately when it comes down to it on an individual level. Their laning prowess in bottom lane, top lane, and even mid lane getting CS and better back timings has shown up. To have a CS advantage against a teleport speaks volumes towards what you're able to do. And it's not that he has combat spells. It's Ghost and Flash.
Trying to maintain a strong presence in that mid lane, despite the harass that Icon's been tossing out. Full level ahead as well, as SMLZ and 5 are desperately clearing out these minions as they keep getting shoved in over and over. Oh, they see him now.
Take my lantern.
He lights up that dark passage and is able to keep his bottom lane safe. No risks being taken. Xie is actually heading bottom as well. He's got level 11 of the Weaver's Wall. Culling being used. And Chains of Corruption finds 5. He's locked down. Doesn't have flash. They dive it. Condi resets aggro as the first turret goes to WE.
And this is expected from WE, but not matched in any respect from OMG. The fact that they want that bottom lane turret was already set up earlier. It's the first turret blood. It's a big income of gold as WE know this is happening, but they have perhaps overstayed.
Oh, the bubble catches World 6 and the cocoon finds Icon. Mystic is allowed to walk safely away.
There you go. This is what happens. WE, they make the right play. They make the smart play. OMG do not know that it's coming, and they do not answer it whatsoever. No trades, no kills, nothing to be seen. And this is already bad signs for OMG, just on a strategic level against their opponents.
Nearly 3,000 gold deficit in 15 minutes, coming out to about 1,000 gold per 5, or about 200 additional gold per minute for WE so far. Though OMG have got that Mountain Dragon. If they can convert some neutral objectives, they can catch up quite easily. Trouble is, they have to go up against the wave clear of Gragas, Talia, Varus. Certainly is going to be tough.
Yeah, they're going to have a really hard time actually breaking the middle turret, even though Karma has so much wave clear and potential lane presence himself. To actually take that from a Talia or to pressure it is nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
Especially when she has genuine kill threat if you're standing predictably to hit the turret. So WE have freedom to match the push. Both mid laners will continue to roam, however. The difference really just comes down to what they're getting when they roam. And the Talia is getting far more.
Yes. Icon so far not able to have too much of an impact. You can see the rotation out of WE forces SMLZ and 5 to head towards the top lane. That means 957 and Xiang are now bowling away at each other down here in the bottom lane, but Xie already invading again.
Nothing you can do about it, World 6. All he has done is out-farmed the Elite. Has got a Tiamat, so it makes sense he can, as they're about to catch you, 957.
Yeah, 957 has got to be careful here. Icon's racing around, and World 6 is trying to make his way down there too. Condi is looking to catch up with Xiang. He's going to be just a few seconds behind World 6, but here comes the Weaver's Wall. Icon is denied, and suddenly this might be a fight. that WE can take 3v2 for just a little while longer. Flash from Xiyoung to stall it as the cocoon goes wide, and Xiyoung gets knocked in. A good kick is going to find Condi in 957. He flashes away, but Condi coming down will use his flash as well. And yet again, Xie is just pumping out damage. He almost has the auto attack. It's a quick shield. Xie flashes back, cocoon finds WE alive, and it is a double kill for WE. 3 kills in the 3v3.
This is a statement game from WE. They should not be alive with the Lee Sin kick. Do not stop that recall, Krug. And WE, he actually stopped the recall.
He did, yeah.
Are destroying them. No kills for OMG, no towers. Absolutely nothing but a Mountain Drake that ruins a potential perfect game.
Oh my goodness, this is demonstrating why WE are the best team in the league right now. Super calm laning phase, super patient play, but when they make plays, they make it happen. Even turning OMG's attempted flank up on its head, the hook goes wide as 5 has got to be feeling a little sheepish, but here's that fight again.
And 957 was caught out, right? WE actually make this play as a reactionary. Icon's caught off. World 6 doesn't really know how to go in here. They're waiting for 3 people to be available. The kick was fantastic, even flashing to ensure he can get the max combo, but 957 flashes out, Condi flashes out, and then Xie is bodying them. They find an opportunity, perhaps, you know, Xie might have overextended. Just kidding, he has summoners too, and this is where everything turns because the second rotation of spells are there. Oh. WE just looks so clean when they team fight.
Oh man, they're trying to go for Dragon right now. World 6 is in the pit, as it will be secured by OMG. WE don't have Mystic there in time, and as a group decide not to fight after eating that harass from Icon.
Yeah, Icon actually just took out more than half of Condi's health bar with a single Q, and that is the strength that a Karma does have. Deathfire Touch Karma can be super potent, super scary. You get that 7% extra magic penetration from the Mastery tree.
Oh, Condi gets caught walking forwards as a quick dark passage gets OMG to safety. The mid-tier 1 falls as OMG find WE out of rotation and punish them for it.
I see what World 6 was trying to do there. He tried to ward hop so that he could immediately kick and prevent a repel out of the Elise. No combo to be countered then, but not to be seen. Thankfully has a lantern to get himself out alive. It is still a turret, as that sounds like a Taliyah saying go.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall is cancelled, in fact, as that's the escape route. That's another repel from Condi as World 6 gets pulled back in. Every time this guy goes in, he gets knocked right on out.
And Xie looks clean on this Taliyah, and it's all coming down to Condi being caught but having a repel. They can't actually seal the deal. They can't get the kill even if the kick's good from World 6. And when it comes to crunch time, WE are just much better at team fighting right now.
Yeah. It is definitely showing. They did sack yet another objective in that Mountain Dragon and the mid-tier 1, but they make up for it. Quickly shoving top with Mystic and 957, even being kind enough to wait for Xie to get some local gold and denying some of the minions of OMG. They've got the support of Ben waiting in the wings. Mystic is totally safe. This is just a textbook bopping.
Yep, and it's pretty standard WE from last year too. The one big change we've seen from them coming into this split was a bit more proactivity in the early game. Condi, notorious for having aggressive early ganks, but he doesn't choose to do that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I think that's just a strategic decision against OMG. Like, they're always going to ram their heads at you. They're going to have a real good crack when that Lee Sin hits 6, and it's always a Lee Sin. Maokai has fantastic teleports that can come out from a twisted advance if they get flanks off. And WE have just said, we'll let them do this, and we'll pick a team comp that is really good at dealing with it. Taliyah can roam quicker. Now they're sieging.
Yeah, 957 in the front, eats a hook and that, but it's a cask onto 5 as he's knocked back in. Even Tidal Wave is excessive as 5 gets demolished along with that mid-tier 1 turret. WE, they set up for the turret, they prep vision with Ben and Condi. 957 is tanking for Mystic and Xie, and then they execute on the mistake of 5.
And they put 5 to sleep on his signature champion playing the Thresh. I expected a lot of things from OMG in this game with the team composition that they've put together for themselves, but so far we haven't seen a single piece of what we expect. And now WE at the 22-minute mark, they're probably not going to go for a Baron this early. They're not like a lot of the other LPL teams, but they will go for kills.
Oh, Condi. Whoa! How did he get destroyed that much? Okay, Rylai's Morellonomicon on Xie, and then Hunting Guys, Runic Echoes, Blasting Wand on Kandi.
I guarantee rookies watching this game and just saying, damn you, Xie. I wish I could win with this.
That's actually World 6 dead. They're in front of the Baron. 957 has made his way towards the mid lane. Mystic is now spotted as WE started off. That's Weaver's
Talia
wall
cut him
by
off.
Xie to prevent entry. And SMLZ is just standing there waiting. You gotta wait your turn. You gotta pay the toll. Finally, the wall goes down, but WE are in the pit. Kandi gets the Baron. Hook is gonna find him, but Xiang immediately has to turn back around with SMLZ split. WE turn and force a flash. A quick knockback from 5 forces his to retreat as well.
And that's exactly what you want from a Talia. Use the ultimate, block them out of the pit area, gives them so much time to take it down. And they have so much damage onto it because they have the Blade of the Ruin King. Doesn't matter that OMG have both Mountain Drakes. And it also gets rid of the one thing that OMG were counting on. That's trying to find some neutral gold, perhaps in the river area. The best case scenario for OMG with this gold deficit is to start trading, and the trades have to be bad.
I feel like OMG were standing there, sort of nose peeking over the fence saying, yeah, the grass actually is greener on that side. Huh. WE certainly frolicking through the fields in this set. 8 kills ahead. Nearly 8,000 gold up. They've got Baron super early. Even Xiang is able to single-handedly scare away, or excuse me, Mystic is able to scare away Xiang because he knows it's never just Mystic. There's already Kandi and Ben clearing out vision on the side. You've got Xie prepping that mid-wave. 957 almost has his teleport in the top lane. WE are demonstrating something here.
Yeah, and the lane assignments are right from WE. Putting the Gragas top lane means they want to pressure mid and bottom. If they pressure mid, they don't even necessarily need to use the teleport from 957 because he's got the wave push. He can just walk down and then go back up if they want to threaten a second lane instead. And you can see now pressuring top side, WE or bottom side, they'll crash with this wave. And it forgoes all vision that has been set up in the lane from OMG because they're already here.
Yeah. World 6 trying to look for something sneaky out of vision, but that means he doesn't have any wave clear. It catches 957 and Kandi. He's already starting to get a little bit tankier now that Leandri's has been finished. The mid-tier 2 falls, and WE move on to the next target.
And still, a small detail like trying to clear this middle wave before going back to top speaks well of 957 right now. He'll clear that wave. He doesn't need to go top because Maokai has to try and clear it. Slowly and assuredly he will. But by that time, he can choose, do I go top lane and teleport, or do I just walk back bottom again? Because the Drake's going to be up in 15 seconds. It's another free objective that even if they push us off the turret, we can look towards, no problem.
Chains of Corruption is used just for harass onto World 6, and as you said, 957 decides to head bottom. The next minion wave crashes. It's not a cannon, but it doesn't need to be, as Mystic gets healed up by the massive ability power. There's another Weaver's wall to pin 5 and Icon. They are locked down and picked off. Fish in a barrel. Forced to watch as WE slaughter them.
And now there's 2 dead. That's a big part of their wave clear missing, especially against the Baron minions. Lucian will have to use something, and he doesn't even have the ultimate. This is getting rough.
Yeah, Xiang is eating some damage. He's knocked back and goes down to the barrel of 957. Sit down and have a drink, Xiang.
And they put him to bed as well. Everyone's going to bed now.
Yeah.
WE just looking to seal the deal. It should be an inhibitor. Don't know if it'll be more because they killed those 2 members super early. They're now going to be back alive. And this is where they retreat. They go to the Ocean Drake if they choose. I don't even think it's worth it. Perhaps the next Drake's just more valuable, so they'll kill it for that reason.
Yeah.
God forbid they get to that stage of the game.
I mean, they are the Elder Dragon team. They just have to wait for the timer. 35 minutes? Okay, now we end.
Kill the Ocean Drake at 30 minutes on the dot, and that's how you know WE are focusing on an Elder Dragon.
I mean, they did all completely recall. They're ignoring the Dragon completely. Ocean Dragon isn't going to help them win the game at this point. Winning the game is going to help them win the game.
They're going to have one small problem to contend with, and that's going to be the Banner of Command, actually completed by Xiang. Does love having a banner. And so being able to put that in the side lane has to be Mystic that actually collects that, otherwise it'll just never die.
He raises the flag to try to keep 957 separated.
There's also the consideration that we didn't highlight of 3 magic damage dealers and an on-hit AD carry against the Maokai. Like, OMG compositionally would be perfectly fine at taking apart their opponents if they weren't just losing fights outright because they weren't executing on the start of a fight in the way they wanted. Maokai was never getting flanks, it was always reacting poorly or acting poorly and being matched. So that magic resistance stack could have worked if they weren't at this stage of the game already.
Yeah. As it is, WE are now moving back and forth between that mid and top lane, hoping to break down yet another inhibitor. There's still a tier 2 up top that 957 is ready to pick off, as SMLZ is actually starting to do some damage to 957. He's got teleport, so he's going to be back in no time at all unless he decides to play the side wave as super minions slowly but surely make their way bottom.
And the game changer here is actually just going to be the Talia wall. If it goes onto the turret when they all push up like this, SMLZ has a lantern, granted. Karma does have the flash, but it'll blow summoner spells for free. And it's all about the timing. If WE want to threaten that, they've got bottom wave now pushing in. As it crashes and Maokai is going to be spotted, I think this is where Xie will actually use the wall to lock people off and threaten either the middle lane turret or the top lane inner.
Yeah. So far, it looks like it is the top tier 2. Xie still waiting just outside of vision as 957 actually walked all the way back. He's spotted out on the side as the wave comes in. Culling finds Mystic mostly, along with Ben to top himself off. Finally, the minion wave is cleared, but the turret has taken a lot of hits.
So is Mystic from the turret. You need to calm down.
He's got red buff and Blade of the Ruined King. Give him like 20 seconds.
He's just overexcited. He wanted to hit it an extra 3 times, and it takes him 1 second. That's how fast he auto-attacks.
Yeah.
WE still, they didn't pull the trigger. They didn't actually say we want to use Xie just yet. They still will, and I don't think it's because, you know, that was the wrong time to do it. It was a good time. But it takes so long for Maokai to clear a wave. They've clearly worked that out. And they've got higher priorities on actually threatening that middle lane, sieging perhaps for that instead.
Ooh, the hook catches Xie and pulls him off of the wall. He's knocked back and will almost die here. Yes, finally executed, shut down by World 6. And though the inhibitor takes a lot of damage, it is still standing. And the perfect game is no more.
And the awkward thing about that is he was trying to ult to block off the top lane, and then he gets hooked at the same time as channeling that. Can't cancel it. There was no way for him to actually get out. And that's the right move from OMG. Again, utilizing Thresh for a good pick composition with the Lee Sin. They blow him up. If there was a flash available for Xie, though, I have an inkling that he was going to actually kill that Lee Sin. Just quietly.
Just the amount of damage he does. Void Staff and now needlessly large rod on top of it. But he's going to be up in 15 seconds. Baron is spawning just before him, however. You can see Vision being placed down by Xiang, and 5 is making his way up there as well, along with Icon. So OMG know that this is happening. The question is there anything they can do to stop it?
Another good ward. That's the second time we've seen it there from OMG, but this time WE, they're smart enough to clear it. And no is the simple answer. I mean, Xiang has a teleport, but if he teleports and leaves those super minions hitting his base, one of the turrets is guaranteed to die. It's already super low.
Yeah.
In fact, it may just die now. Depends on the super minion.
Xiang is trying so hard to keep that turret alive. Xie finally has grouped up with the rest of his team. It's 5 members of WE against the 4 of OMG.
Ultimately, the biggest game changer here is the Karma Mantra Q.
Yeah.
If he can hit that while they're inside the pit, he will destroy their health bars. It's enough damage to potentially even steal the Baron, but Weave as well says no.
Yeah, once again, locking OMG out of the play pit. You must be this tall to enter, says WE. Teleport is started and canceled by Xiang. There was no chance for OMG to even get close.
And that's what you want from Xie. He was going to make the play top lane when he died trying to do it. That could have been what sealed the deal and even just gave them a second inhibitor for free. But the Baron still counts. That's twice we've seen him use it effectively like that. About 5 times his game total, though. He's doing well.
Oh, now the bannered minion. Finally, the inhibitor respawns as that super minion actually has turret aggro as well. Sneaky play from OMG. They might try to catch somebody here. Instead, they just catch 10 gold from those spider lanes. They're looking for the opportunities, but WE are just... This shop is closed for business, ladies and gentlemen.
They're looking because they need to. If the Baron buff lets WE touch the turret is dead. And Mystic is the target. So if World 6 goes...
Oh, he is! Actually gets the kick on the Mystic. He's pulled in. They're trying to burst Varus down. He flashes out.
Full health?
He's back at full health somehow, doing more than enough damage to make up for that deficit. Amazing healing out of WE. As 3 members of OMG go down, and with the Baron buff, this is almost certainly going to be game. Mystic walks up to Icon and is able to just heal it right back up. Again, there's Ben and Connie. The moment Mystic is in danger, the tag team keeps the AD carry safe. Third inhibitor is going to go down, or in fact, they ignore it as they bring minions onto the Nexus turrets and look to close out game number 1 as they crush OMG under the heel of their boots. Even the Weaver's Wall for some dominance as SMLC gets smashed into the ground. It's 15-1 WE.
And easy as she does it, that was a pretty clean victory from Team WE. The end team fight was the perfect kick from World 6. Utter perfection, looked clean, kicks him into the team, and then Mystic just stands still and is like, auto. Nami heals him, and then everybody heals him, and suddenly he actually gained health from being kicked into 5 people. It's a bit confusing.
It's almost reminiscent of like old school cog mechanics. Oh no, a fight. A click. Hands off keyboard.
That's what the Varus is right now, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it certainly worked out for them. But now working for us on the analyst desk is Raz.
That was a game. I mean, thank goodness I said 2-0. No, it's far too early. But that was a really, really clean game. Even if it wasn't the Taliyah feeding that 1 kill, it still would not have been a perfect game simply because those 2 Earth Dragons were going towards OMG. But this is WE. It's a little bit, it's not perfection just yet, but it's fairly close to it.
And I love how you can see where Xie dies. It's that tiny little moment when the gold graph isn't going up. The entire time, it's just slowly but steadily increasing.
And here's one thing, just to take away from pick and ban, the Karma pick coming up, it's a safe pick. It's a pick that other players like Doinby will go towards. It did a lot of damage. The problem was it's good poke damage. As the game is going on, there's no playmaking potential that they can set up themselves up for. The Lee Sin kick turned into nothing because they're really just looking towards Lucian to be able to deal that damage. Otherwise, they just get outskilled damage-wise, and of course can heal each other up. So it's fun to see the Karma, but if you fall behind, as they did, it's very difficult to find yourself back into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, the Karma damage is still going to be relevant no matter what stage, as long as it's mantrad. The Karma will still be okay. It's more that like when the Lee Sin's behind and the Thresh is behind, they definitely still struggle to try and make picks because ultimately every time you saw it, a pick was them dying, not actually getting the kill.
Yeah, and it started off in the level 1, I suppose, because that was a great point that level 1 started. Thresh got the flash off of Nami. You're like, all right, they win lane. Let's see how that goes. And then obviously they start the lane off, losing 75% of HP on that Thresh. And that was it from that point. 20 CS behind. And then when we talk about WE, it's their jungle support duo. Ben got a lot of opportunities to leave the lane. And so Vision was just crushed in the river area. So WE were able to pick up that mid lane rotation towards the bottom lane, and it was just very hard to come back at that point.
Yeah, and I feel like even in the opportunities where OMG could see these plays in advance, they saw Xie leave lane. He was walking over wards. They still weren't responding appropriately. Xiang wasn't able to teleport down there because 957 kept him locked down. World 6 would often be on the other side of the map, so these sort of small mistakes ended up compounding into these advantages.
There were small mistakes, but I think WE set it up so well, even if they did answer properly. There was that 5v5 in the bottom lane that was answered, but WE just outplayed it in every way, and they were already there, set the fight up properly. Taliyah was always in the wakes, so even if OMG tried to outplay, which was just their idea, they're an outplaying team. But WE set it strong. And I want to showcase the Taliyah pick, because there is one Baron situation that we have up on replay that this is perfect vision for the most part. I still want a control ward, obviously, there to be able to catch that blue ward. But they set it up so well, even though that was being caught, the Taliyah wall was able to block them up. It's like, we want in there, but we cannot do it unless we flash over. But then we're just not going to be able to set ourselves up for the fight. And so they get it. They're going to be able to take the fight coming forward. And so this is something we saw from Taliyah time and time again, using the Weaver's wall perfectly, not so much for setting up any sieges. And yeah, he's going to get it. Because that's the best Taliyah play we've seen in the LPL so far.
5-1-8. Xie, the mid laner for WE, pulls out the MVP. The only Taliyah to pull out a win so far.
Yeah, he was impressive. I do think that individually we've seen decent Taliyah players, but that's the best team play we've seen from it. And I think the key factor to that is that the Taliyah didn't lose lane. There was no pressure around that lane. Condi actually spent a lot of time with Ben, even just placing vision to prevent ganks on him. Taliyah entirely killable. There's no escape tools there, especially if the Karma tether does connect. So ultimately, if you just do well in lane, you just don't lose lane, that's where you have these opportunities to come up. And I do want to commend him for his performance.
Yeah, and that's an issue that Rookie has had, is not so much his individual play. He's an amazing Taliyah, but when he gets ganked frequently, there's a problem from IG to be able to help him up. That's not going to be a problem with WE, because the jungle support duo is just able to secure vision around the mid lane so easily. And so Xie coming into the bottom lane, or if it's Ben coming into the top lane, the mid lane, they are always having a numbers advantage, which is why it was so hard for OMG to be able to come back.
Yeah, and again, WE are still marching towards intergroup play again. They've dropped a single game in cross-conference play, and that was to RNG, the other #1 team at the time. Since then, they haven't dropped a single one, and they are now 1 game away from a nearly 99% perfect cross-conference group. That is pretty exceptional.
It definitely is. If they can continue on the path that they are now, this is like the best team in the league that should be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's actually very impressive.
We're certainly going to be looking forward towards that play in general. I think then we have to shift the conversation to OMG. The fact that they were trying to fling countless fists at WE, but could not, unfortunately, break through the Galapagos turtle that is WE, continuing to lumber forward. Maybe they'll have to try something in game number 2. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.